Well, we're coming up on the end of 2021. It feels like it was pretty quick. Like this year seemed to me anyway, flown by. But usually when we start to get into December, gaming news does slow down a bit. And usually it'll pick back up as we get midway through January and a lot of studios and publishers return from their holiday break. But we do have one last big hurrah in front of us. And I think it's going to make December very interesting because it sounds like we have quite a few reveals still ahead of us. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So let's head over here because we did have a new interview. This was, oddly enough, at Epic Games with Jeff Keighley talking about the Game Awards 2021, specifically coming up in about a month. Now, before we go through this, I want to remind you, Jeff Keighley's job, because this is his show, is to hype it up to no end, right? So we've seen this before in the past where a lot of things are put over that you're going to see and be like, okay, I guess, right? Like a trailer for a game you already know about, maybe even the same trailer you've already seen. But we also get some pretty big reveals at times from these different shows that Jeff has. Like, I mean, the Xbox Series X was shown for the first time at one of his showcases with the Game Awards, and that was pretty impressive to see that. And even last year, for 2020, we had some pretty cool things shown, like Perfect Dark. Mass Effect was announced to be making its return, which for Mass Effect fans, that was a massive deal after, well, Mass Effect and Andromeda. And we also had Sephiroth revealed for Smash Brothers. So at times, yeah, Jeff can get some pretty good reveals. But it does look like he's gearing up to have several games at the Game Awards. And I also wanted to go over some of the actual awards that they're going to give out here. But first, let's take a look at this. Jeff Keighley details the Game Awards 2021 and beyond. Now, if we scroll down here, he says, you know, it's great to have celebrities, great to have music, but I think focusing really on games is important because he does mention, yeah, they're going to have celebrities, guest presenters, all of that here at this new show. They also mentioned they're going to have the full orchestra, which will be pretty cool. I think one of the better things that Jeff does for the show is at the end when they have the Game of the Year presentation and they're going to give out the award. Before that, they would do like a big orchestra where they take music from all the different show or the different games and kind of make a nice show out of it, where they transition from one game to the next with a nice big screen behind them as they continue to play music. It was really cool that year where they had like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey up there. It was pretty impressive stuff to see all that come together. My favorite one though was PUBG because it was like, what iconic track do we play from PUBG and what do we put behind us? They figured it out though, so there you go. But he does say they expect the show to feature 40 to 50 games this year, some way or another. He added that the number of new games being announced is probably in the double digits. He also says things are still evolving, so obviously things could be added or even removed. But heading into December, I could see some companies or publishers who have been maybe kind of quiet. Like something I've noticed is Sony's been kind of quiet recently when it comes to like any kind of bigger announcements, and that's sort of what Sony does. Typically, their last, I guess, release for the year would be in like September, October at the latest. And then they just kind of roll into the next year, which they're doing that now where February, they're going to have some pretty good releases. Sifu will be in there, and then we'll also have Horizon Forbidden West, and they'll follow that up with Gran Turismo 7. And then they already have some other games lined up seemingly for the holiday with obviously something like God of War. But I could see Sony maybe make a big splash here at the Game Awards, and then it's anyone's guess at that point. I'm sure we'll have a predictions episode ahead of the show, just in case some teasing comes out from different companies on Twitter, any of that. And for the most part, we'll probably be completely wrong because, I mean, the Smash Brothers prediction, which is what we'd always make, is out the window now since that's done with Sora being the last character. And who knows what Microsoft would show here. They have so many studios now, it could be anyone. But I am excited, looking forward to what could be shown here in December as we head towards the end of the year. But something else I'm pretty excited about is to see the nominations for Game of the Year and then see who wins it, because the more I look back on this year, the more I realize there's not one massive standout game, which I think makes it way more interesting across the board than having one obvious Last of Us 2, God of War, Breath of the Wild, game that's clearly gonna win Game of the Year. Like, it's way above anything really around it when it comes to review scores. It's like a mid or even high 90s, and you're like, yeah, that's probably gonna win. Let's see what else happens when it comes to like best action game, best racing in sports, the best soundtrack. Those are the things that become more interesting because the Game of the Year is kind of a given. This year, though, I've been working on my list for Game of the Year around games that I've enjoyed, and I'm telling you, it's up in the air right now. I mean, Forza Horizon 5 just came out, and that game is really good, but it's a racing game, so it has like this stigma currently with people where they're like, nah, it's just a racing game. But if you play it, it's more than just a racing game. It's like this racing adventure RPG with a very impressive open world is what I'll say. So to me, you could even throw that in the conversation. It's very interesting, very diverse lineup of games that I have on my list, and I will go through them but later on in the video. But I think we'll get the nominations soon, and that's going to spark a lot of conversation over the next month leading up to this big blowout with this show. And I know the Game Awards isn't the be-all end-all when it comes to which game is going to win Game of the Year, but it's the most publicized, it's the most viewed, it's what the most people pay attention to because Jeff Keighley hypes it up to no end. Obviously has a ton of promotion around it, and yeah, it even gets covered by a lot of different mainstream media outlets, so whatever game wins Game of the Year there is going to be viewed as the Game of the Year for 2021. But I'm excited, actually, for the show to go over the list that they come up with. I think it's like 6 games or so. And we'll, again, do a video, I'm sure, with a couple of people coming together talking about who we think or which game we think will win Game of the Year. But I'm excited for the showcase here with a bunch of game reveals. I know that's what a lot of people tend to tune in for, but equally so, I'm excited to see who wins Game of the Year. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. I am excited that it appears we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about heading into December. And then, of course, with the big blowout show here, it's always fun to see what happens at the Game Awards because from what I've seen over the past several years, it's hard to predict it. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.